So, I just kind of wanted to talk about these dreams that I had last night and how they made me realize some things about how what really matters at the end of the day is discernment of your path, alignment with your path, your opinions, and, how your reality is the most sacred text and tool that's out there. So the first dream I had was I was kind of watching this, what seemed like a celebrity or someone, just like people were like watching them and they seemed like hella important or for some reason, but sort of like a celebrity there. I was like kind of following their story. They were accomplishing something really great, and as they were accomplishing these things, I was like extremely excited for them. And it was like I was watching this person go through this story and watching the reactions to this person. And as I'm doing this, there's like these other people who are talking to me throughout this, and they're like kind of spirits, guides, like narrating the story almost to me. And so that was the dream. I was kind of just watching this person's story and very connected to them, to the point where when something really traumatic happened in their lives, I'm crying, I'm sobbing to the point where in my dream I felt it in my body. I woke up tired because my body was moving as if I was sobbing. It was a very, bodily experience, the connection to this person's storyline. And when I woke up, I realized that I was kind of the person in the dream that I was like looking at and admiring, because I was like thinking about the dream when I woke up, or just like going over it. And I remember when I was little, I used to kind of have these visions or stories about this person, and I would frame the stories and the situations and archetypal characters based on celebrities, or just something like pop culture or like archetypes. And so I'm like, this story is going through my head, and as I got older, I realized this story is kind of me. The stories that I was telling when I was little became me, or are becoming me. And so that made me realize that in this dream, that person that I was admiring, this person that I was like super connected to, I was almost seeing my future self or some other self of me, and connecting to it. The next dream that I had, I woke up, wrote all this down, and went back to sleep. The next dream I had was me in this kitchen, and I was living my best life. I was excited. I was enjoying myself. And I'm in this kitchen and I'm cooking, and I'm just so excited. I was excited to do this like in real life too, not just in the dream, but I was excited to get some tortillas and make tortilla chips. And so like garlic tortilla chips. And so I'm in this dream and I'm in this kitchen, and in this kitchen I know where everything is. I'm looking for the seasonings. It was a little messy, so it might not have been my kitchen, because I was annoyed with how messy it was. And I know that when I'm annoyed with something being messy, I have to stop everything and clean it, especially a kitchen. But anyway, I'm like, I'm making garlic like oil to like put on top of the tortillas. I'm enjoying myself. I'm just having a good time. And meanwhile, there's someone sitting on the couch. This was a family member, and they're talking about how them and another family member kind of decided that I was mentally ill and needed to be, I needed to be more concerned about how mentally ill and unrealistic and delusional I was, and that there was something wrong with me. And as I'm really tuning it out, like even in the dream, I don't know the details of what they're saying. I just knew it was like kind of bullshit. But eventually I would tune in, And for a minute, at one point, for a minute, I was like, you know what, am I bipolar? And I thought about it, and I was like, that doesn't even feel right in my body. Like, no, I don't think I'm bipolar. And I just, as I'm listening to this person tell me why they think, I even know, it was like telling me why they think I'm delusional, or going on and on about how I need to be more concerned about my mental health and everything. And it just gave a lot of like jealousy vibes, a lot of like, I couldn't do it, so why do you think you can type of energy. All these birds showing up. It's cool. But especially tied to the other dream, when I woke up, I was like, oh, okay, this is really some hater shit. I don't know, because I'm really just trying to enjoy myself being in this kitchen, and I woke up from the second dream and realized how, and I had a moment where when I woke up from that second dream where I was in my feelings for real. I was kind of internalizing the dream a little bit, wondering like why that would come to me. I have very like trickster dreams sometimes where, you know, I'll even put protection around my dream space, and then still have dreams like that. And so I have to wake up and be like, okay, now why would this come to me, If I believe that my dream space is protected, what is this message actually showing me then? Why would this person be sitting in my dream, like just going off about how mentally unstable they think I am? So yeah, I realized from both of these dreams that, I got into my feelings, and I was, questioning my whole reality and wondering like, am I being delusional? And I'm like asking all these questions to myself, but I'm not acting on it. I'm not like, I stopped myself from acting on it. I was going to start making some decisions from that place of fear, making decisions based on like, oh, I need to do this because this is the realistic thing to do, or I need to do this because this is what the normal thing to do is. This is the certain thing to do. I'm sitting there, and then I'm in class. So I'm like, when I get out of class, I'm going to do this tarot reading to kind of confirm it. So I write down like the questions that I'm going to ask for the tarot. And then as I'm sitting there, I start writing like a quick list of gratitude. Just writing a list of like things that I'm grateful for. And it started reminding me of the lessons I've been learning recently, and how I'm like right at a turning point with like really moving deep into those lessons. And the lesson is ultimately to stop giving so much of a fuck about what other people are thinking about their own lives, that I don't follow the clues of my life. Like, my life has its own clues, its own stories, its own characters, its own archetypes, its own lessons, its own path, and I'm aligned with that. And that's what is my sacred, holy, divine book and text. That is more important than anything anybody can say or do. The sensations that come to my body, the connections that I make between the connections of experience in my life, the animals that show up around me, all these different like little messages that connect to each other, and however I connect them to each other is the like holiest, the most sacred part of life. It's the only thing that I can perceive myself, and nobody else is living my life for me, so it doesn't really matter what they're perceiving. That's mostly for them in their life. And so as I'm writing this gratitude list, and this is coming back to me like, oh, this is the major lesson that I've been needing to like really set in my mind, it made me realize that this is what this dream really was. Like, the first dream is like this idea of not believing that this person that I admire and want to be, it could actually be me. So I'm watching this dream as if I'm watching someone else. Or I'm in this dream as if I'm watching someone else. So there's still like this outsider perspective to the dream, to the person, which, you know, it's a different time, so I don't know, that's probably fine. But I'm not acting as this person in my dream. I'm like watching them. And then just the, you know, I have given a lot of like importance to what people think about my reality. So even in the second dream, this person is just going on and on and on. And yeah, I'm tuning them out, and yeah, I'm not caving into what they're saying, but maybe in the next dream I'll tell them to shut the fuck up and get out so I can enjoy making my tortilla chips. You know, but like there's patience in progress. Next time I'll tell them to shut the fuck up. But yeah, it was just something that I realized, and something that I'm sure other people might connect with. Just the general idea that like things are getting really weird, and like it's your own brand of weirdness, of uniqueness, of, you know, there's your own story that's being told in your head. Nothing stands on its own. Like nothing stands on its own. Everything is connected. And that means that all the things that your senses perceive is connected to something. And it's like your own personal story to follow and to interpret and to perceive. And so it's very important that you are the narrator to that story, that you are following that story and interpreting that story and making sense of that story and writing that story and daydreaming about that story and connecting to that story, and knowing that any outside perceptions to that story is simply a part of the story for you to like sort of have more awareness about what you want to keep continue going on in the story. And so the dream was kind of making me aware of the fact that, yeah, I actually do want to move down this path where it's my path and I'm aligned to my path and nobody else's path, and nobody else is going to know my path because they're not living my path. And the only way to like really solidify that and do that is to really just you know, like block out the haters. I don't know if y'all have remember that Vine where this little like chubby white kid has like spoons on his eyes and he's like blocking out the haters. But yeah, that's what it is. And it doesn't even have to be about haters. It's just understanding that other people are perceiving their life, and if you are one of the little supporting characters to their perceptions, that's part of their story. And so yeah, I just woke up with that realization. It's like there's just layers to settling into a new version of yourself. There's layers to like moving into new parts of yourself where you know, that dream comes in to be like, you sure you. And on a subconscious level, I'm proud of the fact that on my subconscious, I was just continuing to make my tortilla chips, and not really tuning into what they're saying. Like I said, I didn't even get details. I just knew it was something I didn't want to hear at the moment because I was excited about my life. But yeah, so there's just layers to sliding into new versions of yourself, because it definitely feels like now is a time where it's completely new versions, new experiences of self, expanding self, you know, new chapters, new beginnings. There's just no coincidence that everybody's posting that TikTok of like when you enter a new timeline and there's new characters and there's new plots and new storylines and new, you know, archetypes and everything. This really is like newness, expansion, and moving into a different time. Maybe not new, because time isn't linear, but it's just different. A different time, a different version of self, a different expansion of self, contraction of self. It's just and there's layers to like expanding on that. And when you're tapping, when you can, I've always been good at like tapping into different time. And so when I was a kid, having very similar visions to the dream I had when I was little. That was the person that I was also seeing when I was little. And so I had to wake up with the realization that not only am I still on path, like little Olivia on another time was still connecting with this older Olivia, or this Olivia in another time, and that is a part of my story that to connect with, to know that that's my story. And it might look delusional to other people, but life, the more you get into the reality of life, you see how it's an illusion, and the way to deal with illusions is sometimes to be delusional. Being realistic is an illusion as well. So yeah, live your life, dream your dreams, block out the haters.